Hey guys, welcome to today's episode, and I'm so excited. We have Caroline Allen. She is the mineral geek, and she's had her own health journey. And I'd love for you to kind of introduce what your health journey was and what got you so passionate about minerals.
I'd love to share that. Hi, Chantel. It's super nice to be here. My story is that I came out of a corporate career about in 2010, so 13 years ago, and I was very, very, very ill. I had grown up with gluten intolerance, really intense sensitivities to gluten. And as a result, I had inflammation throughout my body. I had autoimmune, and I also had mold exposure. All of these things created a raft of chronic issues in my body, as well as low thyroid. And due to my corporate career, I had flatlined adrenals as well at this time. I was introduced in 2010 to plant-based humic and fulvic minerals, and I started taking them. And what happened was I first went to my dentist, and I had at that time really bad inflammation in my mouth, a gingivitis and bone loss in my teeth. And my dentist looked in my mouth and she was like, "Oh my gosh, what's changed? The tissues look healthy and pink. There's no bleeding. What happened?" And I kind of thought for a moment. I was like, I think it might be the minerals that I'm taking. She just said, "Keep taking them." Then 4 months in, I went to my naturopath to do my regular adrenals test. And my adrenals had been flatlined for almost 2 years. And through taking the test, she looked at the results, and they were 1/3 of the way up the chart to where they should be, which was a huge change because we've been working for so long and trying to affect them and had been unable to. And over the space of about 8 or 9 months, all these the inflammation in my gut, the recurring sinus infections, the problems with my mouth, gingivitis, all of the inflammation there, headaches, all these things just resolved. And I was left with this incredible curiosity. How could these little cups of liquid that I was taking have such an effect? And I changed nothing else, just added minerals.
Well, one of the things that I think people don't realize is that there's more than 30 trillion cells in the body, and minerals are required for just any cell to function properly. And so if you don't have the minerals, then your cells are going to struggle to just do basic things. And so we in general are like, we think, okay, something's wrong with an organ or something's wrong with my body. And we don't really think, maybe this is a symptom of just we don't have the minerals we need, and the cells aren't functioning properly. Talk about that.
Yeah. We've all been taught to think of our body like we have a heart and we have lungs and we have, a kidney and liver, and we have, thyroid, and we have reproductive hormones, and we have these different processes in our bodies. And when something's not working well, say our digestion, as an example, we go to somebody to try and heal that problem. The interesting thing that I learned when I just went down the rabbit hole studying about minerals is that your body is made of cells, as you said. You actually have between 37 trillion and 150 trillion cells, depending on the size of your body. And inside of these cells, there are these energy generating units, and they're called mitochondria. And it's kind of interesting to think about the scale of this. So on your arm, in a single cell, you might have 12 to 15 mitochondria. In your heart, in a single cell, you might have 5 to 8,000 mitochondria. That's in just one cell. And in your brain, a single cell could have up to 40,000 mitochondria. Now, what those mitochondria are doing is generating all of the energy in your body. Now, the fact is that what fuels the mitochondria are two things: amino acids and minerals. Now, the body makes a whole bunch of amino acids. You do have to eat some, but it makes a lot of them, but it makes no minerals. You have to ingest all of them. And those minerals have to not only just be ingested, but they have to get into your bloodstream, and then they have to get inside the cells where they can be available to the mitochondria. Modern
Well,
scientists,
what I want you to answer right now, because I feel like this word mitochondria is like the new buzzword, right? Everyone's like mitochondria, mitochondria. But I want you to break it down for people as simple as possible. What is your mitochondria?
that's why I call them, they're like little power plants. Imagine a nuclear power plant inside your cell. A mitochondria is an energy generating unit in your body. And those mitochondria generate every single bit of energy. Those energy units are called ATPs. Okay. So, and the thing is that since most of us don't have the fuel of minerals to fuel those power plants, those mitochondrial power plants, most of us operating at about 37% of the energy, of the possible energy generation in our body. So, what I say to people is when you're, do you have that feeling like you look in the fridge and you're like, something's missing, I need something? What if that's just your cells saying, I need minerals? That's actually the case with many cravings. What does a hungry cell crave? It craves salt and sugar. And what do those are the things that generally people crave when they feel like, oh, something's missing.
So I want you to talk about, because I've just started really researching humic and fulvic substances and humic and fulvic acid. And I'm just really intrigued with it. And I think it's, a lot of people haven't heard of that. So I want to take a step back and for you to explain that and why it's so essential for you.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's break down what are humic and fulvic. Imagine an entire rainforest back when the dinosaurs lived, and a huge meteor hit the Yucatan, and it killed 75% of life on Earth. And all those rainforests decomposed over millennia into this incredible mineral-rich substance. It's called humate. In our case, with our products, it's called humate, and it exists about 12 to 15 feet below the earth. It's this black crystalline substance, and it includes all of the minerals that your body needs, naturally formulated in the same ratios of minerals that your body is made of and utilizes. So that material, so inside of that humate are these two molecules, and one is called humic and the other is called fulvic. Now, both of these molecules carry all of the minerals that your body needs, but they also have additional capacities which are uniquely designed by nature, by Mother Nature, to support cellular systems. If you think about your body, you're made of cells, those 37 whatever trillion cells, and you were evolved. All of those cells evolved on the earth. Your cells in your body work the same way all the cellular systems on earth work, with mitochondria inside your cells generating energy. They work exactly the same as the plant in your house, okay? Now, the interesting thing is that because fueling your cells requires getting minerals into your cells, there had to be some sort of mechanism to support that. And that's what the fulvic molecule is. Some of us have heard of a word called flavonoids, and we think of those related to like superfoods that we eat. Well, fulvic is a natural flavonoid, and it is the result of these decomposed rainforests, which is the decomposition of freshwater plants only. So not saltwater plants like, chlorella or spirulina, but only freshwater plants, okay? And this fulvic is an intercellular transporter. It's an extremely effective way of getting nutrients into your cell and biowaste and toxins out of your cells, okay? So any channel that opens up in your cell wall, that fulvic molecule gets a free pass through. Most things that go across the cell wall require having a certain receptor, because the cell is saying, well, let's only let beneficial nutrients or substances in. But it recognizes fulvic as a beneficial substance in that fulvic then can carry 60 times its weight of nutrients into your cell. And then it does something that no other molecule on Earth can do. It changes its polarity, and those things drop off inside your blood, inside your cells, and now they're available for the mitochondria for this energy generation.
So why are so many of us just experiencing massive amount of mineral depletion?
There's really three reasons. The first is because our food supply is lacking minerals. Okay. And I like to help people understand this. If you think about when a plant grows in the soil, how does it create all of the structure in the plant? It does that by sucking the minerals out of the soil and building the structure. If you think about your body, all of the structure in your body is made of minerals. If you look around the room you're in, everything around you, all of the table, the chair you're sitting on, the floor, the walls, everything is made, the structure is minerals, okay? So when you grow a plant in the soil over and over again, the way we do in production farming, it sucks the minerals out of the soil. And over time, those plants that we're eating have substantially less nutritional value. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that we're all drinking bottled and filtered water, as we should, but most of it has no minerals. So in the last 10 years, there's been a huge increase in all sorts of chronic symptoms that even kids are experiencing, from cramping or heat stroke or cognitive struggles, attention deficit, all of these kinds of things that are absolutely related to not having enough mineral content in your body. And so your body can't generate enough energy. If you're in a room right now and you took the light in your room and you just dialed it down to about 40%, that's how most of us are operating.
So I will tell you, I went to the thing that kind of really got me intrigued with really looking at minerals and trace minerals. I had gone to a place called Restore Cryotherapy, and I got an IV, and she was like, okay, well, we're going to add trace minerals to your IV. And I had done some IVs before, but when she added the trace minerals, it was like, I'm telling you, I was like king of the hill, right? And these IVs are really expensive. I mean, the different IVs that you go, I mean, they can be anywhere from $180 to $300 to go get these IVs. But when she added those trace minerals, I really was like, oh my gosh, I was dancing. I was like feeling like $1,000,000. So talk about trace minerals and how they're different and why they're so important.
Yeah. So, and let's talk about what's the difference between trace minerals, or if you go to the grocery store or your health food store and you go into the aisle where all the minerals are, and there's a bottle of magnesium and there's a bottle of potassium and chromium and zinc and copper and selenium and, on and on and on. And you kind of look, I've spent a lot of time in the grocery store aisles and the health food store aisles talking to people. How do you know which mineral to get? And what do you know about minerals? Most people know very little. So the thing about your body is there's a full spectrum of minerals that your body needs. And it needs a lot of what we call the macro minerals, like magnesium, potassium, calcium, salt, sodium. So you need a lot of these, but you also need smaller ratios of extremely important minerals, things you probably have never heard of, like molybdenum or boron or phosphorus, things you wouldn't take in a pill form, but you need them, and you're not getting enough from the foods that you eat. So trace minerals are a form of minerals that are in very, very small amounts. When you go to the grocery store or the health food store and you buy a bottle of pills, they're measured in milligrams, and I call those megadose minerals. The problem with using single megadose minerals is they create imbalance in your body. So trace minerals are very, very minute amounts of minerals, usually formulated in the natural ratios that your body utilizes. So when you put them into your gut, and what we know about the microbiome in your gut is that it thrives when there's balance. So if you're using megadose minerals, you're constantly putting large amounts of these different minerals in your gut, and it's creating imbalance. Trace minerals don't do that. They support what we call homeostasis, which means balance.
Did you guys know that 97% of Americans are deficient in at least one mineral? It's true. You need more than a dozen minerals for your body to function at its best. But with the standard American diet, it's almost impossible. So here's where Beam Minerals comes in. Guess what? All you have to do, take one little shot of this one little shot of this one, and guess what? It looks like this, but it tastes like water. Take one shot and boom, in 30 seconds a day, you're getting an entire thing of minerals instead of an entire cabinet of supplement bottles. So with Beam Minerals, we make mineral balance simple. So, as you know, everyone calls me the fasting queen, and I haven't been doing as many longer fasts as I used to. I would do 7-day fast, 3-day fast all the time. And lately, I just wasn't able to do it. Like, I would just feel so terrible doing it. And I want to tell you a couple things that I learned. I am on no medication at all, except for a very, very low dose of a natural desiccated thyroid. Well, I realized that thyroid medicine, when I fasted, I guess my thyroid would work faster. And so the combination of me taking that thyroid medicine, if I was going to do a longer fast, I just wasn't able to take that medicine. And right now, me taking these B minerals, I'm now completely weaning myself off. So I'm not taking any thyroid medicine at all. So that's a testimony to your product and how well, when you give your body the minerals it doesn't need a natural desiccated thyroid. That's number one. Number two, when I was doing my longer fast this week, I took the B minerals and I did it 3 times in a day. So like before I was just doing once a day. And I was like, you know what? Now that I'm fasting, I'm going to take this 3 times a day. And I just want to show you guys literally how easy it is. I don't measure. Don't get mad at me. I just literally just stick it in a cup because now I know exactly how much it is. Mm-hmm. And I just put it in a cup and I just do it 3 times a day. This last 48-hour fast was the easiest I've ever done. And I did it 3 times. So I just want to encourage you. And it kind of looks like this when you're done, because one of them's black, one of them's kind of an orangey color, but it literally just tastes like water. So it's like, I will tell you this. I'm not a liquid person. If you gave me the choice, do you want to take a liquid supplement or do you want to take a pill? I'm going to take a pill every time because I'm funny about taste. But you guys, this literally just tastes like water. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing that I've been adding into my piece is taking copper. So between the combination and the copper's been a huge deal as well. But the idea of me taking the B minerals, me taking myself off the thyroid supplement and weaning it completely off, and then taking the B minerals when I'm fasting 3 times a day has been a game changer. Do you know anyone else that has been able to wean themselves off of the thyroid medicine by taking the B minerals?
Well, there's several aspects of support that, if you think about biosynthesis process in the body, which the whole translation from T3 to T4, all of the thyroid function in your body is a biosynthesis process. And that is fueled by mitochondria inside your cells. So if you give your body minerals on a regular basis, all of the autonomic functions, all of the biosynthesis processes, all of the cellular functions, the autophagy when you're fasting, that all those cleanup processes, even the process of cleaning when you sleep at night, there's a pulsing process that happens in your brain that cleans out detritus, cellular detritus from your brain, so it supports cognition and sleep. All of these processes are supported not only just by minerals in general, but specifically by plant-based minerals, these humic and fulvic substances, which greatly enhance the bringing of the nutrients into the cells where they can actually make a difference, the detoxification of the cells, and then the full system detoxification, removing detritus, bio-waste, toxins, heavy metals, etc., out of your body altogether.
Yeah,
It's
one of the things that you guys have created are these little travel packs. And I love this because you can literally put this in your purse because these things are really, really big. So you can like stick it in your purse and then it's like, I'm getting a little tired. I need a boost. And boom, you just take a little shot full of them. And it's like, it's just really crazy how it's like, it just gives you such a boost. It's just so wild.
most people are, I'm a person, actually, I hate taking pills. So I'd rather take a liquid, but I'm also like you, I'm so picky. And if you taste lots of liquid minerals, many people have tried liquid minerals, and usually even liquid electrolytes, even liquid electrolyte drinks that are powdered and you pour into a glass and they're flavored to cover up the salt, the salty taste. And drinking those every day, first of all, you shouldn't be using salt-based electrolytes on a daily basis, but that's a separate conversation. However, the beautiful thing about our minerals is they taste like water because all they are is minerals and water. One of the most important things that people don't know about minerals, that when you take them in pill and powder form, is most of those minerals are made from rocks, shells, and bones. And the thing is, when you think about your human digestive tract, it doesn't actually digest rocks, shells, and bones very well, but it knows how to digest and work with plant-based material. And that's what humic and fulvic are, plant-based material. Now, with our products, the beautiful thing is they completely skip the digestion process altogether and go straight to absorption. And they absorb through any tissue that they touch. So they start absorbing in your mouth, in your throat. So by the time they hit your stomach, your body is already absorbed and is utilizing some of the mineral content.
So explain to me, this is something you have. I love the name. It's called Happy Lights. And my son is so cute. He literally will spray it and he'll be like, remember that show with the Duck Dynasty and they always are like, happy, happy, happy. So he goes like this, he goes spray, spray, spray. And he's like, happy, happy, happy. So explain, you've got the Insta lights and you have the Happy Lights. Explain, because for me, I'm trying to think like, how is this absorbing into your body and why does it work?
Okay, so let's talk about Happy Lights. And I call Happy Lights a lighthearted product with serious effects. So when you think about the fulvic molecule that we talked about, it's so small that it will absorb directly through your skin, particularly through your sinuses, because your sinuses are very porous. So when you spray it and breathe it in, you're getting an immediate electrolyte infusion through your skin and through your sinuses. That's the first effect. The second is with Happy Lights, it has an essential oil called bergamot. And they call bergamot nature's Prozac because your olfactory system, so your sniffer, is connected with your lower brainstem. And your lower brainstem is where neurotransmitters are triggered in your body. So if you're feeling anxiety, so many people are experiencing anxiety today. If you're experiencing depression, if you're experiencing panic, there's a lot of people who experience panic. Or if you have a child who has struggles with their mood and anger, and they have anger outbursts, Happy Lights is amazing because what it does in 3 to 5 seconds, it shifts the whole neurotransmitter wash in your body. So when you're depressed or you're anxious or you're having a panic attack or an anger outburst, that's a set of neurotransmitters in your body. And if you can shift that wash before it blossoms into its full intensity, you can completely skip the anger outburst, the panic attack. You can break the cycle of your anxiety or your depression. It's not long acting, but it's very, very effective in the short term. So our Happy Lights is one of our absolute favorite products for individuals who deal with those things, for parents who have kids with autism, who struggle with their outbursts, for people whose have teenagers and they're dealing with puberty and their moods are all over the place. It's a huge, huge help.
So I want to just, because people who are listening to this podcast, a lot of them are just, they love to fast, just like me. They are a fasting queen. And so I want you to just explain it. I'm going to explain why I think this works. But if you're struggling with your fast, and I get it, but you get into a fasted state, and what happens is it's like you're going along and you're like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And then maybe you're like at 17, 18, 19 hours. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I guess maybe your mitochondria needs more energy. And so it's just so hard to push through. And that what's happening is you might have a mineral deficiency going on. And so when you take a shot of the B minerals, it's like your mitochondria needed more minerals. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can push through. Is that what's going on? Or just explain, why is it that all of a sudden you're doing this fast, you take these minerals and it's like, boom, you feel like you can go so much longer.
That is, you're right on, you're right on it. So there's several factors involved here, right? One is that when you go into a fasted state, you go into ketosis. And so you're moving from a carbohydrate or adapted state where your body just can get energy from carbohydrates to fat adapted. Okay, so already there's a transition there. That's one of the key transitions. But after 18 hours, you're certainly into ketosis. And although you may not be feeling well because several factors associated with ketosis, if you could have some keto flu symptoms. But the thing that we've found with everyone who uses our minerals, and particularly if you load with the minerals before you do your fast, most people will, first of all, go into the fat-adapted ketosis state without having any of those symptoms associated with the transition. Okay, that's first of all. So the other thing is, if you load your systems fully with these very bioavailable minerals, you're giving your body, because you're stopping the external input of nutrition. So your body's going to start looking for minerals and amino acids in other places. But if your tissues literally are just very depleted of minerals, your body will not find those mineral cofactors. So now let's say again, you started with your light dimmed down to 40%. Now start fasting. And now your body's looking for minerals that you're not bringing in through your food. And now you're just going to start turning that light down, and it's going to get harder and harder. But if you replenish your minerals well beforehand, and also throughout your fast, the beautiful thing is B minerals won't break your fast. So it's going to be the perfect support to all the autophagy processes, all of those cleaning, those body cleansing processes, the detoxification processes that occur, and it's going to fuel all those mitochondria.
Awesome. Well, I want to tell you about a study that I just heard that, we already know how bad glyphosate is for you, but they're still putting millions and millions of pounds of glyphosate in our soil, which hence goes into our food. And I heard a study where they were saying that, even people who are eating organic, they did like a urine test on them and they still found, glyphosate in their urine. So I want to talk about how important is the B minerals to kind of counteract, we're even the people who are eating just as healthy as they can be, they're getting some of that glyphosate just, when they're going out to eat and different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot get away from glyphosate exposure. You cannot get away from it. There's been recent studies that 100% of Americans have glyphosate in their urine. So, and especially for young kids, this is even more, it's affecting young kids. Even if you're eating all the organic food that you want, it's in the water, it's in the air, it's everywhere. Now, the thing about glyphosate is, I hate to be the person saying, oh, there's this terrible thing. I want to tell people what you can do about it. And what I'm going to tell you can do is take our MicroBoost product. The beautiful thing about that MicroBoost product is it has this molecule called humic. And humic is becoming well known as the most effective remediator of glyphosate. Not only remediator, but also detoxifier of glyphosate. All of the major companies that are doing detoxification protocols, they all use humic. And why is that? The humic molecule, imagine it, the way it works is imagine like a Velcro ball. It's very sticky on the outside, has a huge amount of receptor sites, and it just hangs out in your bloodstream, moves through the bloodstream, and it picks up all the trash. And it also grabs the glyphosate molecule, builds a biofilm around the glyphosate molecule, and immediately starts breaking it down. The beautiful thing about that, as soon as it starts breaking it down, that glyphosate no longer can have its effects in your system. So my health, the reason I'm sure from the research that I've done, all of the positive health effects I had from taking the plant-based minerals, it wasn't just from replenishing my mineral stores, it was also from remediating glyphosate. Because at that time, I didn't eat a lot of organic food. I mean, I did eat organic, but I wasn't like, eating organic. I wasn't concerning myself with glyphosate exposure at all. And I'm sure I had high levels of glyphosate in my gut.
I want to also talk about headaches for just a second. So I really, I'm one of those people, I can count on my one hand how many times I've taken Tylenol or any kind of Advil or anything in the last year. I'm very anti-Tylenol, anything like that. So I always kind of, when I get a headache, I go, okay, I kind of have like a list of things that I do. First thing, I take some salt. Am I dehydrated? I take some really good water. And now I've been like, okay, my step one is, the salt. Step two is water. But right up there, I'm like, okay, is there a stress on the mitochondria? And I need to, without antioxidants, you're going to have more headaches and you need, magnesium to kind of relax the muscle tissue. So, taking the B minerals has really helped with me just getting headaches in general. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, headaches are absolutely a sign of mineral depletion. Okay. And mineral depletion can look like dehydration. It can look like gut dysbiosis. It can look like cramping. There are so many anxiety, cognitive issues, things that we wouldn't necessarily think, oh, I'm mineral depleted. The next time someone has a headache, what I recommend is take a shot of electrolytes. So the thing about electrolytes, because our fulvic product, because that fulvic molecule is not only provides that full spectrum of minerals, but also the delivery system for the minerals into your cells, it's immediately, within minutes, it's going to replenish mineral stores in your body. Literally within minutes. We often go to the aid stations at bike races, and many of the athletes are used to using salt-based electrolytes, and they get to the aid stations, they're feeling that depletion, but they don't want to use the salt-based electrolytes because they know it's going to bother their stomach and make them feel really funky. But they come over to our station and they take a cup of electrolytes and they drink it. And then within a minute or two, they're standing around and they're going like, whoa, what just happened? Could I feel that now? And we're like, yep, you could, because it literally has already started absorbing and assimilated into your cells, and your body's utilizing it. So truly the best thing you can do if you feel a headache coming on is take a shot of electrolytes. And I do that all the time. You don't really have to worry about taking too much electrolytes. Let's say you had your amount that you take in the morning, and then in the afternoon, you suddenly feel a headache. You could just go and have another shot. The reason you don't have to worry about taking too much is because these are trace minerals that are formulated naturally in those ratios that your body utilizes. So you're just putting more in of those natural ratios. It's not causing imbalance.
So this is a great point because I've never not taken one without the other. I don't know why. I guess I'm just in the habit. Like I take the micro boost and the electrolytes. I just take a shot of one and a shot of the other, put it together, put it in the cup, and boom. So how do you know, like, okay, I need the electrolytes versus the micro boost?
Yeah. So here's what I think of. Think of it this way. The electrolyze is your remineralizing powerhouse. It is the full spectrum of minerals and the delivery system of those minerals into your cells. So when you want quick, immediate replenishment or daily foundational replenishment, fulvic is your tool. Now, the microboost is all about detoxification. So I think of it as my tool for not only providing the full spectrum of minerals, but also getting the glyphosate out, getting the nanoplastics out of my system, removing all the cellular detritus associated with autophagy, the senescent cells, removing the mitotoxins from your all sorts of toxic substances. It will constantly work in your system, removing them. Let's say you wake up in the morning, you feel tickle in the back of your throat. You're like, ooh, I've got something. Take an extra shot of microboost, because the beautiful thing about humic is it's an extremely effective antiviral. So it makes an inhospitable environment in your gut for that virus to flourish. It makes it inhospitable. Okay. So, or let's say you go to a restaurant, you eat something and you get some stomach, you're throwing up or you're getting diarrhea. This is a great way to remove that bacteria from your gut. Take an extra shot of microboost.
Love it. Well, I will tell you guys, this has been a game changer for me. I like to take a shot of each of them at the same time. Try to go up to 2 or 3 times a day. It's been a game changer for me. If you go to chantelrayway.com/beamminerals and you can get a huge discount, that's chantelrayway.com/beamminerals. And I want to thank you, Caroline, because I'm obsessed with this product. I feel like you are changing people's lives, helping them get off of any kind of medication, helping them to be able to fast longer, and really making such a huge impact on people's lives. So thank you for all you're doing to change people's health in a magical way.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. And thank you guys so much. And you guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.